Welcome to Soul Brothers, Solana's finest podcast, together with my co-host Eno and myself, Simon, where it is our job to throw you into the Solana rabbit hole, show you around our exciting ecosystem, and also introduce you to some exciting founders we have on chain.
Our mission is to take you on the latest and greatest so that you never run out of fun things to talk about. Simon, we do have a very special guest today. He is a dear friend and can't wait to talk about all the stuff that he's working on. We also have a collaboration in the works with this fellow. So can't wait to talk about all the things that we will work on in the future with him at a later date. But first, of course, we have to talk about the stuff that he's doing in the present. In fact, he's reached some really interesting milestones on chain, including NFTs. But that's not the full story, of course. There's a whole vision and mission behind this man's company. And so it is our absolute pleasure to introduce to the stage Daniel, the founder of NOMU. What's good, Daniel?
Hello, guys. My two brothers from different mothers. How are you guys doing? Pleasure to be here.
Very good, very good. Welcome to Soul Brothers, and thanks for jumping onto the show. We hope you're doing well on your big day today, because today is launch day. So
tomorrow is TGE. Today is pre-sale, but yes, it's the days are blurring together.
Oh, okay. Then we are all right. Okay. All right. Nick, if you're backstage, maybe you can change the title. It's not TG today, it is pre-sale today. Anyway, this is a big moment for you though, because you've been working towards this for a long time, and token launch, obviously pre-sale, and then right after the actual launch of the token is one of the biggest moments for a crypto founder. And how do you feel? How do you feel today, right now, like after waking up, after working pretty relentlessly over the past couple of weeks and months, so close to TGE? I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, yeah, the real work begins when the token is live and after, blah, blah. We know that, but how do you feel right now? Like, what's going through your mind before we jump into the specifics?
I mean, all of that is true, but also I'm scared. Also, I'm excited. Sleepless. I was going to say, like, you guys, like the intro pictures of you two, when you go in, you look so young and fresh. I'm still saying you both look very handsome still, of course, but it's more matured. And when I look at myself, like pictures from 2 years ago, I feel like crypto does that to everybody. I look like a fresh year-long duckling 2 years ago. And now I look at myself, I'm like, Jesus Christ. So it's a lot of that. It's definitely terrifying for the right reasons, though. I feel in the life of any man, you got to fight the good fights. I feel this is a good fight. So yeah, ready to go to battle for it. And yeah, there's no coming back after that. Like, tomorrow's a huge, huge day. It is the biggest moment for any company. Going live with the token is essentially aligning yourself to your community, is being able to win together. That's what a token ultimately is for. If that's not your main plan with it, then you shouldn't launch one. We thought long and hard about launching a token, because I do think that 90+% of the tokens out there should not exist. Happy to explain why ours should. But yeah, it's a big moment. Very excited, restless, sleepless. The team is now with me here and back home. We're setting up ballroom for the next coming days. So yeah, all the right things are happening. And I'm glad to be able to be part of the Soul Brotherhood right now.
Hell yeah. You know?
Well, yeah, if your company doesn't have a war room for your TGE, they are not going to fucking make it. But fortunately, our friends over at NOMU do. All the best companies do it. Obviously, you could do that remotely, but with the amount of coordination and random shit that happens on TGE day, it's best if you have really, really high information bandwidth. And no better way to do that than in person. So thanks for taking time out of your very, very busy schedule. I'm sure there are 1,000 different things that you have to complete by the end of today. I also doubt that you'll be getting any sleep over the next couple of days, but that's the fight, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, a little bit. Walk us through the roadmap, Daniel. What I don't want to do this interview today actually is I don't want to go too deep into the whole startup pitch and everything. You've done this like 5,000 times in the past weeks. You're probably boring yourself talking about it. I know it's your baby and you're excited about your company. I get you, but also let's just talk about some other stuff. If you want to learn shit about NOMU, then there's so many great resources out there. We're going to talk about high level what it is, sure. But if you want to really do a deep dive, then please read the articles on X on the NOMU account, because they're really well written. I know they're written by Dani. 99% sure, because he's very good at doing these deep dives, very analytical, and it explains not only the article about tokenomics that not only explains the token, but there's also an article out there that explains the core concept about NOMU and what it is and what it does, as the is it still the Kickstarter of Web3? Is it still that? Is that still the? Is it
That
accurate?
was a good analogy. That's a good way of thinking it.
Yeah.
Kickstarter, where you actually get
Ref.
money back when you invest in those products.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that makes sense. But let's just, from my side, my question, and you'll go after. But from my side, what I need right now is just a little roadmap. Like, where are we right now? What's happening? What happened last week? Token related. What's happening today? Token related. And what's gonna, what's happening tomorrow? A little bit of the mechanics around it, so people just get a TLDR of everything about the $ NOMU.
Sure, absolutely. I agree with you, by the way. I don't want to make this like a half an hour shilling session about NOMU. There's no point in that. No one wants to hear that. We can also speak about, token launch is a big subject today still.
Yep.
Launchpads coming out left, right, and center. We can speak about Meteora, which obviously we're going to use for our own token launch.
Oh, yeah.
And Simon, you and I, we launched together Solana ID. So there's a lot of common history back there. To answer quickly your question. So last week, we conducted our first pre-sale on Swissbook, which I originate from. I did love the product there for many, many years. And we sold that out. It's great. So today's the last pre-sale, which is on Bookpad, which I co-founded 2 years back, and where we launched Solana ID. And then tomorrow there's TGE. So the TLDR for what you need to know about the NOMU token is that its whole tokenomics is based on reflexive buybacks. We are a marketplace where we sell real world products. That's kind of the Kickstarter analogy. You could also use Amazon, but that's how it reflects commerce. Every single time a product sells a NOMU, buybacks of the NOMU token happen, and they're redistributed to new holders, i.e. the users, the buyers of those products. It's an amazing flywheel that allows us to grow very, very quickly. There's the token is inherently linked to the business success, which is very important. And from there, now tomorrow there's TG. We're doing this the right way, and I have very strong conviction about what the right way is. It's a fair launch by the books. What does a fair launch mean? First of all, there's no asymmetry. There's no asymmetry between insiders and community. No one got in on the better terms. No one got in at a low valuation. That doesn't exist. Everybody got in at a super low valuation of $1.5 million. It is 100% unlock at TGE. There's no vesting nonsense. Ambassadors are the only ones who get vested over price, so there's no way of dumping on the community. There's no VCs, no market makers, no paid sex listings, none of that nonsense happening. It's by the books, how it should be. It's broad by design. We're going to launch with over 1,000 holders on day one because of the pre-sales. Pre-sales were like $50 tickets, super small. The one was distribute the ownership of the token. We managed to do that so far, so very happy. And the big day is tomorrow when we're going to be live, and you can buy it on any DEX on Jupiter included, but any DEX on Solana.
Right. You can also buy it on Titan, I suppose.
You can also buy it on Titan. You can also buy it from the Solflare wallet directly.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. It's quite a different setup from a lot of token launches, right? Don't you think? Like when I like super low tickets, like pre-sale tickets of $50, like even today the pre-sale, right? Like the one on Blockpad, it's going to be max $50, right? Per
it's
wallet.
bullshit to do it. Like it was terrifying because essentially I did the math and we needed roughly 1,000 individuals because in Swissbook they're all KYC'd as well. So it's not like 1,000 wallets and like the same wallets, same people with 3 different wallets. It's all KYC'd users. So it's 1,000 individuals that had to invest, and it happens. We sold out like within 2 hours, which was amazing.
Yeah. If there's a person that I would trust with a TGE, it would be Daniel, but only because he's seen so many, right, posted under his belt at this point. So he has just a lot of experience with what works and what doesn't work. And that informs a lot of the strategy, I'm sure, with his token, right? He's taking all of that wealth of experience and trying to apply those lessons into his own token launch. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about your NFT presale, because I remember when we discussed it in Tokyo, I was like, I remember you telling me that like how much you sold them for and how many you sold. And I just thought to myself, like, that can't be true. He's not lying, but like he must be fudging the numbers a little bit, right? Like, no, it was 100% true. What did you achieve when you were in Tokyo this year?
So that is the first time we saw each other or maybe not the first time, I don't know. We saw each other a bunch of times this year, but Eno was hosting Super Team, what was it called? The Build,
Super
not
Tokyo.
Build this week, sorry. Super Tokyo Startup Village. That's what it was. Exactly. Super Tokyo. And then afterwards, a week of Startup Village. emceed all of it, of course. Like, who else would you call for that? And so we spent a lot of time together. And that was right at the beginning of the week in Tokyo. So it was 1 week where all the Solana startups that were part of Super Team Japan were kind of co-working together for a week. And then at the end, it was a demo day. at the beginning of the week, we said like, well, this week we're going to launch our NFT collection on a market on Solana that's still right now is pretty dead. Like nothing's happening. Like you kind of feel like something is sparked, maybe happening in the market, which is great. But in August, middle of summer, I can guarantee there's nothing. But we had to do it for different reasons. We wanted to consolidate our community. We felt that we had something already, and it was time to materialize it through this NFT collection, which gave them early ownership of NOMU and like rewards, all that thing. And we sold 1,000 NFTs at 100 at one sell, which at the time was exactly $180, something like that. So $180,000 of pre-sale, and that essentially was twice as much volume as any other collection on Solana, including Mad Lads, including SNB, on those 2 days. So we became the number one collection on Solana for 2 days in a row. We sold out all 1,000 of them, and just it became the biggest NFT pre-sale by market cap in all of summer. If not, since we reached the $1 million market cap as well. So like it's done a 4x from the pre-sale price. Hope you guys still hold yours if you have them. I can't remember, but it's been a fun journey so far, and it was amazing. Just a way to see that our community really showed up, and you only know what you have and you have to step into the arena. And until then, you can say as much as you want, but every now and then you got to step into the arena. And that I'm very glad that we won that fight. And it was an amazing experience. Happy to do it by your side as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think phenomenal, because it's not very often that you get to tell people that, in 2025, I sold out, 1,000 NFTs, and not only that, but the price is 4x. I mean, you just don't hear a lot of stories like that on the timeline anymore.
How do you feel about?
You thought you didn't believe me, like when I first told you we were going to do that.
No, I
like,
didn't.
No, you called me stupid. Like, you didn't call me stupid because you're too nice to do that. But along the way, like, you sure you want to do that? Like, you were questioning at least.
Yes, I was definitely not a believer, but clearly Daniel proved me wrong. So major congratulations. I'm not afraid to be wrong, when I'm wrong. And clearly, Daniel can pull off things with his community that I didn't think were even possible in today's market. So I think that's all very bullish for your launch, as well as the pre-sales and everything. It's a good signal in the noise.
Yes, absolutely.
Let me be bad cop. If I would have to criticize something with a gun to my head, right? And I'd look out from the outside on NOMU, and I look at everything you do, I'd be like, why the fuck are you extracting so much money from the market? What do you like? NFT launch here, pre-sale there, like another pre-sale there, then token launch. Are you going to launch another token or what? Like it's like a lot of things, like a lot of capital accumulation. How do you feel? Like, do you get that sometimes from people? Like, do you get people that tell that actually to you, or have you seen it somewhere? If not, then they're probably just not saying it, because like if they don't know you, if they don't know NOMU, and they just look from the outside, I think it is a viable critique to say that you just because you can also build a startup technically like Echo and get acquired for $375 million from Coinbase without any token, NFT, whatever, right? So how do you feel about like having all these assets out there, having all these stakeholders now out there looking at you, like, and expecting some return and everything? I think it's it is very successful, like what you're doing so far, but it also adds a big layer of stress and pressure because you do have so many stakeholders that are now expecting things to happen, right? Like, okay, so a lot of things to unpack here. First question: do you get that sometimes, like that people like say, okay, you're extracting, why do you launch so much? And then why do you launch so much? Like, what's the actual, just tell us without expanding too far out there, why the NFT and why the token is so relevant for the whole operation here.
Sure. I haven't really gotten it. I got it maybe once from people that join us as investors later on, just because they didn't understand the dual assets and how each would get rewards back and what the flywheel behind those were. But really, I haven't gotten it once because the whole point that we do is to not extract, right? First of all, we haven't raised a lot of money. We raised in total around 300K, which by all means in accounting crypto is just nothing. That's one engineer's salary over a year, really, like a good engineer. So we really haven't extracted anything at all. And the whole point of, so what is crypto all about? the core purpose, the difference between Web 2 and Web 3 is ownership, right? I can read and write the web on Web 2. I can read, write, and own the web on Web 3. So if you're a B2C company, you want to go into Web 3, you got to ask yourself, why do you want to go into Web 3? The right reason of why to go into Web 3 is because if you're building B2C, you don't want to have clients, you want to have a community. I think that's the biggest takeaway from crypto and business, that people want to belong and they want to participate and win together with the project and the brands that they like. I'm off all the low flow, high FDV, insider sniping nonsense of the last few years, which is complete ridiculous. The one thing that we learned is that there's a genuine desire of the broader retail public to be part of the economy, to be part of the future, to materialize the convictions and have a high degree of loyalty and connection with the projects they believe in. And for that, the token is amazing. That's the real utility of it. If you can, but the token needs to make sense, of course. And token independently, whether it's an NFT, fungible or non-fungible token, doesn't matter. It needs to align community and the brand. For us, it makes a lot of sense for that specific reason. It's because the whole flywheel of the token, that's why we're also doing it the way we're doing it, launching at $1.5 million FDV, which is nothing. Because we want to, instead of raising, let's say, rounds behind doors, which is a classic we would have done any other company, or like at least the last few years, you would have done a pre-seed at this valuation. You would have done a seed at 10x from that, 10 mil. Then essentially would have another order of magnitude above that would have been a good Series A. And then maybe you do Series B if you really do like a big heavy thing that needs heavy engineering. And then you go to market at several hundred millions of dollars of FDV. You haven't really tested the market, because why would you? Because it's easier to raise money when you can still project numbers than having to show real numbers. And then the whole thing happens that we've seen in the last few years, right? So we do the other way around. We don't do any primary sales behind closed doors. It all happens on chain. It all happens with the community at the heart, because we believe that the primitive of Web3 is win together with your community. And for that, you need to give them skin in the game. And so that's what these two assets are for. But it needs to be, that's why we're doing very small tickets. Like no one invested more than $5,000 in NOMU. Not a single person today invested more than 5K into NOMU. So it's super, like it was a ton shit of work to align all of these big guys in Solana as well, which like 5K is like pocket change for them. Be like, no, I can't give you more. Like this is the max ticket, but come in, win with us and have wide distribution of NOMU. And that's what we achieve to do. So it is really the opposite of extraction. That's why I haven't gotten it much. And I think people see that relatively quickly. And if not, then it's just a misconception and pride bias of like, I've seen so many projects that launch NFT plus token. It always ended up the same way. That's why we're doing it differently.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's pretty much it, right? Like some people might have some PTSD from that setup, from some prior project without naming names. Like there have been, a few, but they also did what you just said, everything opposite, like very high FDVs, high valuations for token and NFTs, inside allocations and so on. So again, I think very unique approach, really, like when the way you guys do it. What about the execution part of the TGE itself? Like how's the setup looking? Where's what tools are you using for launching the token? There's a few launch pads on Solana that are fighting with each other all the time. Why do you go the way? I mean, you're obviously the co-founder of Blockpad, but like why do you go that path? Give us for people that might not be familiar with the setup you're using, give us also the reasons why you think this is a good setup for a token launch.
Sure. I mean, as you remember from Solana D days and TGE, I have pretty strong opinions and convictions, which might also be wrong sometimes. But as Eno said, I like to think that I was able to see more than the average person and from their form convictions from experience. And there's definitely right ways of doing it, and as a consequence, wrong ways of doing it. What we are using primarily, to answer your question, from all the launch pads, and no hate to any one of them, I'm just going to speak about what we use specifically for us and what works for us. A big part of it is done on Meteora. The simple reason, from my biased opinion and subjective opinion, is that as a team, they push the boundaries the most in terms of composability. That's the key word here. How easy it is and how nuanced you can make a launch as a team building on top of Meteora in a permissionless way. Other launch pads, when it actually comes to liquidity provision, are very strict. Like you have the big one is Radium, which is the tried and tested one, and you can do things on Radium, which is cool, and it's going to work. You have Pump as another big one, but it's a very specific type of launch. You don't really have much ways to play around. You either follow one playbook, which is the meme coin playbook that Pump does, or you don't do it. Meteora allows you to do a bunch of really cool things and allow you to explore new models, push the boundaries, which is what the whole NOMU launch is all about. For instance, as briefly mentioned earlier, which we can say full disclosure, all three of us here, we are part of the ambassador group at NOMU. And that means that we are the only ones that are actually vested in the token launch. And we're not vested by time, which is what everybody does until now. Even Meteora, weirdly enough, I don't understand why they've done it that way. But everybody, the vesting height works, for those who haven't been part of pre-sales and locations, that kind of thing, is you have cliff and vesting. Cliff is you get your tokens locked for a period of time, and then vesting happens usually linearly over time. So let's say every month or every week or every day, you get your tokens unlocked continuously over the next couple of weeks, month, whatever the vesting period is. A better way of doing it, in my opinion, is why look at time as a measure of vesting? Look at price as a measure of vesting. Why would you look at price rather than time? Because if you look at price, then you're incentivized. You only get your token once you reach price milestones, which by design is a much better incentive than just looking at time and waiting it out. And whatever happens, I get my tokens, I can just dump them. The only way I get tokens is if we reach price milestones. That for me is an inherently better primitive of unlocking tokens. I hope that more people are going to do it. It seems very straightforward. And Meteora allows you to do that, for instance, using their DLLM setup, which essentially is just liquidity pools per price. And so I can unlock those as price goes up. There's a bunch of really cool things you can do like that. If we go more into detail, I guess it would get too complex, but that's a very good example of how you can do really cool things.
Actually, one question that I have is, what TGEs have you seen in the last year that you respect, and what do you think that they've done well? Maybe even stuff that you think they didn't do so well. Just curious, like what. I have a very uneducated point of view in terms of what TGEs I think went well, right? And the uneducated person's point of view is like price go up, good, right? But I'm sure there's a lot more nuance than that. So I'd love to get someone's take, someone who's actually been in the sauce and is doing it himself. You know, what are some TGEs that stood out to you in the last year?
Sure. I mean, as a nuance to that as well, TGE really is just the first step. Like it matters a lot because a lot of attention comes into it at the moment. But what matters more, as you say, is what does it do post TGE? And it's like the Big Bang. At the beginning, the Big Bang is everything, but as time goes on, it becomes this faraway memory, and what you look at is the present. So the way I judge, well, you can see what happens pre-TG. That usually gives you a really good idea already what the token's going to do and what the intentions of the team are. If you look, for instance, just because it was the most recent one, if you look at Meteora, what they've done is really, really good. You had a really good repetition of token allocations. You want to make sure that the team doesn't keep too much for themselves, and make sure that the vesting makes sense. And bias as well, but one of the ones that I respect the most is Xorg, which is our own family token here. But like they also went, all the tokens are unlocked. All tokens are unlocked. The only ones that are locked are the team. Great. That's exactly how it should be. Meteora did the same thing, by the way. So we're going to do the same thing as well. It also depends on proportions. I think Flash Trade, to make it relevant here, did an amazing job. Beyond TGE, what they do with the token sinks, which is the most important thing with the token. The token sink simply is, it's another way of saying token utility. But utility often is referred to some kind of, well, traditionally some kind of governance mechanism or something slightly like painful to understand and to implement. It doesn't really flow organically. A sink is more importantly, what is the token used for? How does it accrue value? Or in other words, where does the demand for the token come from beyond speculation? That's a token sink. People are always going to have demand for speculation, but you need to have something that's more than speculation. Otherwise, it simply is a meme coin with a suit. And a lot of tokens are like that, by the way. But the rev share, whatever they call it on Flash Trade, the way it works with the pool being suited from the trading fees, and then you can stake your FAF, and then it's amazing. Great. That's an amazing model of doing it. And essentially, it's a good proxy for business success accrues to the token without it being a security, without qualifying for all of that nonsense. And as regulation becomes clearer, you can even do more creative, more cool stuff with it. So whether it's buybacks, whether it's what Flash Trade does, is a bunch of really cool things that are happening in space. I think the space is maturing a lot very quickly. I think Simon and I were having discussions very early on about this last year. The space clearly wasn't ready yet, and now we caught up, which I'm very happy to see about. But those are just two examples, for instance.
Cool.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
What's your supply sink while we're at the topic? What's the token sink for the NOMU token?
Yeah, I mean, that's the $1 million question, to be honest. Thought about this long and hard. You need to have a mechanism that just makes sense. And in my opinion, that doesn't depend on market conditions. My main criticism for buybacks, which is kind of all the rage at the moment, is that buybacks, if you look at traditional finance, buybacks are frowned upon because it's capital inefficient. What a buyback does is essentially saying is revenue that could have kept for the company to invest in product, reinvest in growth, and I'm using instead to buy back my own asset to please holders in the short term. It's fine. If you're Apple and you sit on God knows how many trillions of dollars of treasury, as an early startup, does it make sense? It's almost like paying dividends. It usually does not make sense. So when we looked at how we accrue value back in the token and how we execute buybacks, it was very important to me that buyback did not depend on NOMU revenue, meaning that I can both grow the company as well as buy back my token simultaneously without sacrificing one for the other. And the way we do it, we're in a very lucky position that what we are building is a marketplace. It's what we call the first spend to earn marketplace. It's going to be on Solana, where I buy products, and because my money funds the product and my words make the product succeed, hype it, I get to share the upside of the product. So I buy the product and I earn when it sells. That's a whole primitive. And for that, we take part of the margin of the product, which every product has, and reallocate it to rewards pool, which is then used to buy back the token and then redistribute it to the buyers of the product. So we add, every single time we do a new sale, we add new token holders, which is amazing for us. And we add buying pressure onto the token. Critically, this buyback does not come from treasury. So it doesn't depend if I have money in a bear market or I don't have money in the bear market, and then I need to stop buybacks, which would make the token price go to hell. It comes from the margin of the product itself. And the pitch for that is you need to convince the product. And it's very simple. Instead of having a customer acquisition cost of God knows how much which actually is close to your heart, Simon, of God knows how much to pay for Meta ads or Google ads. And you actually take your most loyal users, the ones that believe in you, and make them ambassadors, make them become brand advocates with you, make them win with you. If you let them own the upside and share the upside of the product, meaning that they earn when it sells and you win together, these guys, first of all, their LTV, so their lifetime value, goes through the roof because they never experienced a loyalty mechanism like that before. Like the best they ever got was Amex points, and Amex points suck. Like they were invented 30 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever it was, and it's within a closed system. It depends on terms and conditions, and it's not liquid. What we're giving you here is liquid rewards, real money that you can sell. You can do whatever you want with it. It's open, composable. You can go in DeFi with it. You can do whatever you want. So you win with the company. And then we say like, well, your normal CAC, which usually is like a 20 to 30% of the total cost of the product, instead of using that for stupid Facebook ads, how about you try giving it to your most loyal supporters and grow from grassroots ups with them and let them do the marketing for you, the word of mouth, let them shill for you on the market, because you allow them to do that. And it's a very easy pitch for products to understand. And so we've got a whole pipe lined up of launches. We're going to launch, just for timeline, we're going to launch the first product with a spend to own marketplace. We call it reflexive commerce because it makes sense. But November, with one of the biggest IPs on Solana. I can't say it yet, but you are all holders of it, I'm pretty sure. So it's going to be real good fun. And from there, we're just going to scale. We're going to do scale vertically, horizontally across product categories, across markets. And we're just going to also open up the deal flow so more people can come in, and it all goes through a token. So whenever the revenue, so the rewards, whenever product sells, that margin is taken to buy back the NOMU on the open market and redistribute it to people. So it does not come from our own treasury, and this flywheel keeps spinning. And so essentially, as your NOMU holder, you perceive every single dollar of sales on the NOMU platform directly as a buyback into the token. That's it. Super simple.
I see.
And
So you're saying that when people buy the Soul Brothers man thong, that they'll earn NOMU?
They're pumping our back.
Are we releasing that? Okay.
Well, we got to do the bunchies. We got to do the banana hammocks, man. I don't got much of a banana, but I would like a hammock for it.
You got to wear it, bro.
You got it exactly right. So the bull case for NOMU is you guys have a community that NOMU doesn't have yet. So when people buy the budgie smugglers of Eno with Eno and Simon's face on the bum, then a part of the revenue from that will be used to buy back NOMU on the open market, and that is redistributed to the buyers. And then they can sell it if they want to, that's fine. It will be delta neutral on the price, worst case, because we just put it back on the market. So price with buying pressure equals at worst selling pressure. atomically speaking. But because not everybody sells everything and we don't redistribute everything anyway, it's net buying pressure. And on top of that, we get new token holders and they get liquid rewards and they can do whatever they want with that. And that's the next step, in my opinion, of loyalty, of commerce that works for you. You as a consumer have the power. You make products succeed. It's time you win with them. That's the kind of model.
I mean, everything you said was correct, except for it's not going to be on the bum. It's going to be on the cock. Anyways, moving on. So,
hey, who makes these decisions here in this company, my friend? Like, we got to have a word. We got some comments in the live stream.
Who's the creative director of Soul Brothers?
Probably not us. Like, neither of us.
I'll tell you what, I'll put the shit up for a community vote. I already know what they're going to say. Bum or cock?
Very good. What are you? You're bum man or cock man? Anyway, when Manthong says CSE, crypto sales expert, when Manthong. So we got to work on that. But yeah, that's pretty much what the NOMU marketplace is gonna feel like. Like you can buy products that are funny and maybe a bit weird or serious from your favorite brands. For now across crypto, right? Like I think the target market for now are crypto companies. I guess Solana niche to begin with, but technically I could onboard everyone on the marketplace. Technically, right? Like you have it's e-commerce.
That's right. It's going to start with Solana brands just because of the cultural proximity. People understand ICMs. It works a lot. In this case, it's just ICMs for consumers. But clearly, the path is, if we do what I think we will do with this first big launch, which is then it's like a top 3 brand in Solana, like not like it's literally top 3. They can kind of guess, I guess, who. If that works and we do the numbers that I think we will do, the next step is essentially 1 or 2 more big names, Solana or across chains in crypto. And then essentially it's used. If you look at the examples of what's happened like this in the past, one of the best ones is Rect. They've done an amazing job, to be honest. Rect, their flywheel, and they've done it with Jupiter, they've done it with Abstract, they've done it with whoever, with OpenSea. And now they got into 7-Eleven because they were able to showcase those numbers and incentivize the selling of real world products, in this case drinks, incentivized through the tokens. It comes from Treasury, so there's I love. I mean, what Obi has done is incredible, and I have admiration for him from both sides of from head to toe. The danger of it is the tokens are unlocked via Treasury. They kind of kept like a rewards pool at the beginning that they allocated from tokenomics, and now that's unlocked. They do buybacks now because they realized. But I think if you do it from the beginning, from real economics, unit economics, which is it all comes from buybacks, it's more sustainable. But essentially, it doesn't go too far away from what they achieved to do. So then you go Web 2, and you get the biggest brands to come in, you get new retail come in, and ironically, it might be one of the most powerful ways or more powerful Trojan horses to get people back in, because the whole flow of NOMU, it won't feel like crypto. At the beginning, yes, but we are building a flow that is completely crypto agnostic. You come in with your Google account, you buy with your credit cards, and only at the end, when you want to get your reward, your NOMU tokens, it will be in a pre-funded wallet for you. So we're currently talking to as partners that you guys are very close to kind of do that wallet infrastructure. And at that point, it's the single best incentive I can give you to onboard crypto, because you have literally money waiting for you in a wallet. So it's a very good way of onboarding new users as well. And if all goes well, that's what the next few months are going to look like.
Interesting.
Yeah. Rect is super interesting. I would have loved to have been in the room when they negotiated that 7-Eleven deal. Like, I'd just love to understand. I mean, there's a lot of assumption on our side about how they got that deal. But I mean, clear to the crux of their argument is, hey, look at like all of these new drinkers or beverage, kind of customers I can bring to 7-Eleven. This resonates with this consumer base. Like, this is probably people who are going to your stores. I'm just like very, very interested in how they achieve that, because it's not easy, right? To get distribution into 7-Eleven of all places. Like, they have so many different product categories that are trying to get stocked there.
And limited space, like by definition, 7-Eleven.
Very limited. Yeah, it's not Costco.
It's very competitive. I mean, we studied the playbook of OE and Rec quite a lot, because it was very inspiring to us. Another good example is Collector Crypt, by the way, for this RWA consumer meta that's happening. But going back to Rec specifically, they've managed to leverage one metric above all else, and that was the key to their success. If you look at Rec sales, it looks a bit like this. It's flat, spike, flat, spike, flat, spike. Those spikes are the launches of Jupiter, of Abstract, of Rect, of OpenSea. In the middle of those launches, not much is sold. But essentially what Rec can go to is it can go to 7-Eleven, to all the other big retailers in Web2 and be like, I can sell out, in total I think they sold more than 1 million cans by now, but I can sell out 220,000 cans in 17 minutes. That's more than Coke does in the entire state of California in those 17 minutes. It's crazy numbers. So being able to come to retailers with those numbers and be like, hey, I'm up and coming. You can position yourself ahead of this. Probably the deal is very beneficiary for 7-Eleven, of course, as well, because they hold the asymmetry. But nonetheless, if you can leverage that number, and he was incredibly successful, and the BD team is incredible. I don't know if he does it himself or if he has help with that, but that BD team is insane. And so that you leverage that number and then you extrapolate from it. Pudgy Penguins, by the way, same thing. They have sold like 20, if I'm not wrong, like take away the pinch of salt, but I think $20 million worth of plushes last year. $20 million is a lot, but it's not that much for a market cap of 7 billion. So if you look at it from a TradFi perspective, like the PE ratio would be ridiculous. But they got into Walmart because they were able to showcase.
You gotta look at these companies like they are companies.
No. You're right. No, I just did the. I'm just like, yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, they went into Walmart and they were able to,
They went into Walmart because they were able to show the same thing. Like, I'm able to sell this many plushes to my community in this amount of time, and then Walmart took a bet on them, and then obviously they can leverage that for the next one, But there's a lot to be done still. I think Pudgies did a first really good step in it. Rect, Collector Crip, it's all going in the right direction. I do think that there's a lot of pent-up demand for real-world assets and to make crypto real. And the power of capital formation in crypto, so the ability to raise money. And you saw that with MetaDAO recently, like Mura, like you guys are very close to the team, right? $153 million, it's just ridiculous. That power can and should arguably be used to impact the real world too. And that's kind of the bridge we are trying to close with NOMU in just through a marketplace of real world products. Because whether you put money in this world is you're going to dictate what the world will look like. If we all put money, if we all give all our money to Jeff Bezos tomorrow to fund Blue Horizon, whatever maybe Blue Horizon will go to Mars before SpaceX, right? So wherever you put money into this world, money is a very good proxy for energy, and we all exchange our time for money. That's what we do all day long. So whether I put my money is also an extrapolation of my own time and my own energy. So it's very important that you understand that there's real life consequences to whether you put your money to, and we want to apply it to the real world through the real products. And in our case, once you start owning the upside of a product, you think less about how cheap it is. And so it's less about quick dopamine in the moment of like just buying something right now because it's a deal, it's Black Friday, to what is the potential future value of that product. And so even the whole like overconsumption that we live in today, there's like cheap Facebook ads, it always kind of put on its head if we manage to execute the way I imagine it. And I think we'll end up having a better consumer society through that. That's the highest possible vision.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, it's good to have, like, this is not the future next year. Obviously, we know that. Yeah. But it definitely, it's in a good time window, this narrative right now, because the world is kind of fucked when it comes to consumerism. And the like literally every day I get fucking packages from Shein in my doorstep, and I'm like, what the fuck? What are all these things doing?
I mean, you're in a peculiar situation because you have a little love boo boo who loves.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. And then there's so many gimmick. But like, it's a good point. Like, you're thinking about it, like. But I do believe, like in my case, my girlfriend would still buy these products if she would ask herself the question, does this have potential? Oh yeah, it fucking has. I'm gonna buy it. Like she actually believes these things.
If your girlfriend, she saw the program, like, not only do I love this cute bag, whatever it is, but on top of that, I get to win with it. And like, in fact, when I wear it, I become an ambassador. And so the more I wear it, the more kind of inherent publicity I do for it, the more it would sell, the more I earn. Like, it's a very powerful 100%. Loop behind that in terms of loyalty and how the emotional connection you feel to a brand.
Yeah, it's all ownership, right? That's not just monetary ownership, but also like mental, emotional ownership of whatever the fuck you're buying there, which is a different kind of reality than we're living in today. So I do really think the high level vision here is something you can talk about without sounding too out of the tuned out of the reality, because it is important, right? It's an urgent topic right now in this world, and we talk all day long about how we need more use cases for crypto and how we need more. We need actual products and apps that will drive adoption and all these fucking words we always use. And here we are talking to NOMU, right? Like I feel like it is it is refreshing between all the DeFi and whatever else is going on in Solana. Like usually you have these trends and everyone is building this and that. But this is refreshing, right? It's a new kind of niche, I think, that where you guys put yourself in. And even when it comes to competition, like I don't even know who do you compete with?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I have to draw comps because it's important to do so. But
Yep.
in Web3, the closest comps are Rect and Collector Crypt that have a token.
Yeah.
You also have the other ones because Collector Crypt does it specifically with collector cards like Pokemon cards and NFL cards kind of thing.
Yep.
But ultimately, it's the same principle. The one thing that no one does is that reflexive part of I can win with you. Like on Collector Crypt, you can kind of resell them back, and if you're lucky, you get like a high value, and you can get some quick speculative money out of that. But the long-term alignment of win with me over time, that no one does yet. But I hope, as you said, like that's the other thing that I feel really strongly about. Consumer crypto does not have to be token speculation. Like it needs to go beyond that. At one point, if we don't manage to evolve beyond it, we'll just end up having meme coin 2.0 in 3 years, and then meme coin, it needs to evolve beyond speculation. Like there's so much stronger use cases for crypto. Like if you look at the original cypherpunks, it is not intended for speculation. Even Solana itself, the purpose of the Solana token is not a speculative token. It's to secure a decentralized layer. Like it's super, super important to do so. It's an economic stake in this decentralized blockchain. Then, of course, people add layers of decentralization and of speculation on top, which is fine because human psychology is wired for that. But like, arguably, that's where the world is going towards. But I'm not sure if that's a better world. And secondly, it's certainly not the only thing that crypto can do or should do.
Speculation is a key part of the whole crypto universe, but it shouldn't be the only part of the crypto universe. That's kind of the take I have. Like it's fine if we have meme coins as a niche, as a vertical, and everything that belongs to it, which is purely speculation. It's fine if we have prediction markets, which is honestly more than speculation if you extrapolate what you can do with it with the polls and data. But it's still speculation in the first level. It's good to have these things, but it shouldn't be like the toolbox we have allows for so much more that would be a waste to only pick that one fucking tool and be like, this is what I have. Like, this is what I do here. We can do more with that. And I think it takes time, right? Innovation takes time, and things fail, things succeed. Time will tell.
And to bring it back to you guys, I know that you guys agree with this because both of your projects, what you guys have spent a significant time of your life on, is not speculative. Like Solana ID is not speculative. Stable coins are not speculative by definition. So I almost think that wouldn't we all feel when someone asks you from your friend group, like your aunt asks you, "Oh, so what do you do now? What do you do for work?" I struggle saying crypto sometimes because I feel the stigma is still very high, and she wouldn't understand. And the only thing you remember is those stories, FTX, and like people lost money kind of thing. It's true, but I think this cycle, if the crypto's now existed for what? For Bitcoin was done in 2009, 2010, Ethereum 2014. It's existed for more than a decade. If after a decade we can't move beyond just that one use case, then we're probably going to be limited to that for the foreseeable future. So I think this is critically a cycle where we need to go beyond that.
Well, I think. What's your take on all of this before we're closing the show?
Yeah, I mean, so I struggle with this a lot. So first of all, I agree with you 100%. Like even my in-laws, they because in Korea, one of the biggest project to come out of Korea ended up being one of the biggest rugs of the last cycle, right? Terra Luna. And so Korea famously at that period of time was all in on crypto. The media was talking about it. Politicians were greenlighting it. We had a whole population of engineers who were looking into it. And that was kind of the balloon that popped, that ruined the party for everybody. And now it's like, it's taboo almost to be like, I work in crypto is like most certainly a red flag. It's like, there's no way I'm letting my daughter marry this asshole. He works in crypto. Like there's no fucking way. Right.
Just the IT. That's what I do.
Yeah, IT. And you know, but if you really look at where crypto is going right now, I mean, the unfortunate, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but we essentially are just taking TradFi and putting it on crypto rails. Like we started out with all of these first principles of like privacy is a good thing, and like we want to have sovereign money that is not tied to fiat currency, and we want a real store of value that's not gold or whatever, right? And it's like how it's playing out right now is very much just like TradFi on chain. And then like we have a bunch of experimentation now, whether it be futarchy, whether it be NOMU, whether it be different types of LPing, which has just never been done before, where anybody can contribute capital for swaps. So I'm just wondering, I mean, like obviously there's going to be a lot of waste in this experimentation. All experimentation requires waste, because like if everything just worked on first go, then it's not experimentation. But I'm just kind of curious, like how you view exploring new things in an uncertain world, and like there is a non-zero probability that NOMU will not work out, like just as a concept, right? That doesn't mean that we shouldn't try it, that we shouldn't push for it. I'm just kind of curious how you think about innovating and trying new things, and you know, kind of where you think crypto's upside is now.
I mean, first of all, yes, there's it's not close to 0% that NOMU doesn't work out, like any early startup, like there's a very high chance, in fact. So we're obviously doing our best for that not to be the case, but the truth is it's risky, it's early on, so take that into account. Beyond that, I think you just gotta use to, as you say, like the analogy of putting Wall Street on chain, it could not be more accurate. That's exactly what we're doing. And in fact, the truth is a lot of Solana marketing goes around, you know, what they call it ICMs. It's a lot of partnering with institutions, partnering with big, and it's fine because it's a big part of the adoption curve for crypto. And I think it's essential, in fact. And no one does it better than Solana. Like that's, I think it's been the biggest USP of this ecosystem compared to Ethereum, for instance. That being said, it's a shame if we limit ourselves. I think it's a closed-minded vision of what it could be, and it's not up to the foundation to come up with those new use cases, because it's just critically not their job. They provide infrastructure and they need to go for the big fish. That's their job, because they have the leverage to do that. It's to the builders to kind of try and take a step back. And the one thing that crypto lacks critically is originality. The degree of copy pasting, of originality and creativity, the amount of copy pasting that exists in this industry is just ridiculous. Something works, people understand that crypto is narrative driven and meta driven, whatever that word even means. And so then we all just do derivations of the same thing. And some of them will have a better go-to-market, some of them will have the better VCs that back them, introduce the right people, and that's it. There's so many use cases that actually come back from those early primitives that you said, that are underexplored, underutilized. I don't want to talk about NOMU, but we can speak about Solana ID, which I've been bullish on from the first. And speaking about those big posts, I did a very big one on Solana when it launched, because it is a complete reversal of the Web2 marketing of push and like very inefficient capital allocation of Google Ads, which essentially is throw a whole bunch of money in the ocean, like a big net, and see what you catch. That's kind of the analogy of what ads on Web2 is. What Web3 does is, and in process, when you do like big net, you destroy the whole ocean with it. And in this case, it's your treasury. Or you catch dolphins and you catch turtles, all of them.
Beautiful.
What Solana ID allows you to do is, instead of throwing that massive net, you see that specific blue marlin or mahi-mahi, whatever it is that you want, and you throw that line and you tell it, and you give it a bait it can't resist, and you take in that mahi-mahi. It's much more capital efficient.
Yep.
And it's much healthier as well for yourself, and just philosophically, it's healthier than having to just shoving down endless data and farming it because you want to be more efficient at this big net throwing thing. And that typically is only doable on, it's not only doable on Web3 rails, but it is most doable on Web3 rails, because the amount of data you can collect on chain to utilize that kind of catching of identifying who the mahi-mahi is only possible on Web3. And most importantly, the mahi-mahi, maybe it's not, because the mahi-mahi gets killed in this analogy. It's not, maybe we should use something slightly different, but critically, the mahi-mahi gets something back for being, it gets the bait.
Right.
No, I mean, I think the analogy is spot on. It's perfect. It's perfect. Let's just end it there. The mahi-mahi, we let it go,
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, we let it go, but we have a conversation with the Mahi Mahi, and he say, "Would you like to
Exactly.
buy some
Would
Solana man thongs?" And he goes, "Yes, I would."
that's right.
But it is a very valid point, right? Like, I think the TLDR here from this section of the show is that I think NOMU stands as a example of what else we can do in crypto, especially these days, where a lot of attention gets just sucked into one narrative and stays there forever. Which is just the way crypto behaves, right? Because it is narrative driven, and a lot of these projects have tokens, and if they don't jump onto the train, they fear that they miss it. It is just the reality. It's tough to be a founder in this market or in this industry, in this niche, and stick with one fucking thing for longer than a year, because left and right, you get pulled in a lot of directions. So yeah, also one quality that we can accredit to Daniel himself as a person, I think, as a founder. You've been you're very strict with your principles and views, I feel, once you set them, and as long as you feel like they make sense and no one really strongly convinces you otherwise, you hold on to them, whatever happens. And you just go with it, which is not common anymore in this world of constant change.
Appreciate it.
I think with these positive words at the end, we should come to a close. Danny, tomorrow is TGE. Today is pre-sale.
Mhm.
Give us the facts real quick. I need the time slots. When do we need to be kind of prepared, and where do we go to kind of anticipate these things? Can you share a little bit of details for everyone who wants to check it out?
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, do your own research. Secondly, 6 p.m. tonight, CET, so Central European Time, do the conversion from there. On Bulkpad is a pre-sale. So if you want to make sure that you get in at 1.5 mil FDV, which is the lowest FDV anybody has gone in. It's 100% unlocked tomorrow at TG. Make sure to be there. It might get competitive because it's small allocation, small tickets, but that's the whole point. We want wide distribution. If you miss it, can't get in, you're too late, whatever it is, tomorrow around 2 p.m. TG happens. Again, 2 p.m. Central European Time. You'll be able to go straight on Jupiter and all the dexes, wherever you buy your tokens, and get it there. And if not, on the Swissbook app, which we're also going to be listed on day one there. So that's the exciting bits. It's 100% fair launch in the sense that, again, there's no symmetry. There's no exit liquidity waiting. Just simply, there's no selling pressure that will be there at TG, apart from the small tickets that we're pre-selling today. And the demand is clear for the flywheel that we mentioned earlier. There's no VCs, unlocks. There's no market makers that are ready to manipulate the price in any way, shape, or form. We haven't paid for any sex listings. There's no airdrops. It's just a good launch.
Only up.
That's
Sounds like it can go only up. Too good to be true. Let's see what happens. We're gonna anticipate it with a lot of anticipation. And do we have a CA already, Danny, or where can people find to make sure, because there's gonna be fake tokens? So what do you advise people to do to kind of stay
That's
safe
a
out
good
here?
point. If you really like what you heard and be like, okay, I want to be there on the minute. Crypto is a harsh environment. There's a lot of sharks around, so be careful. We have a CA, we haven't published it yet because there's likely going to be snipers, and we want to make sure that we mitigate that properly. Be careful at the beginning at launch. The first 10 minutes are the highest risk ones. Why? Because everybody's trying to get you. There's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of attention. Snipers are gonna try and get in, pump the price, dump it back. We're gonna have measures against it. It might mean that the first minute or two there's high fees because we might use Meteora's ASS. It also means that people will probably, if you're on the Telegram groups or you're on X, they might DM you and be like, hey, there's a different way of getting it. Do not answer that. And whenever there's a link, do not click the link. No one of the NOMU team will DM you first. Just wait for us to publish the CA. It will happen as we launch. Within the first 5 minutes of launch, the CA will be live. Then only then buy it. It is not worth trying to get a slightly better valuation at the risk of getting rugged. Wait for the CA. This is a long-term play. NOMU is not over tomorrow. It's not over the day after that. We're here for the next cycles. So just position yourself accordingly. Don't do anything out of greed. Don't do anything out of fear, generally speaking, not just this. And then everything will be fine.
Awesome. Danny, thank you so much for coming on and swaying a lot. Like we talked about a lot of things, so that was a very good, free-flowing conversation. But we did our duty, and we covered definitely a lot of details around the token launch, which I wanted to, use the time we have with you today. So at the time of recording, it is Monday today. There's the pre-sale going live on BlockPad, and then tomorrow, which is Tuesday, the 28th of October. Is going to be the TGE of the NOMU token, and then after that, it will be trading. It will be live on chain, and you can find it everywhere. So only trust the verified announcements, ideally from the NOMU account on Twitter, which is at. Give us the handle, Danny.
Eats with NOMU, because we're all going to eat well.
Oh man, you stole the fucking ending line. I wanted to say it. God damn it, we're all going to eat well. I waited like the entire fucking podcast and be like, at the very end, I'm going to start ending. Well, I mean, it's your fucking project. Of course you're going to say it. But I was like, God damn it.
We're going to cut it. We're going to cut it, We can
do it again. But just for context, everybody knows, like why Wagyu? So our slogan is Wagyu. Like, we're all going to eat well, Wagyu. Because WAGME is not really a thing anymore. The reality is like there's just too many tokens for WAGME to be true. We're not all going to make it. Not all tokens are going to make it. But with NOMU, we believe that we're all going to eat well. So,
Nah, you ruined it.
Okay, guys, I'm going to close it off here.
Kidding. So much. We're all going to eat well. Wagyu, we're obviously not all going to make it, but at the very least.
Thanks so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys. I hope to see you.
Thanks, Daniel.
Awesome.
Bye-bye. Cheers, guys.
Thanks for listening. See you around. Bye-bye.